Smart vacuums are one of the few smart devices not supported in Apple Home. If Matter could change one thing, I'd say Smart Vacs would be a good place to start, but in reality that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. For now, Siri Shortcuts will have to do. This is the Deebot T10 Omni by Ecovacs. It vacuums, mops, and includes a docking station with an auto-empty dustbin. It self-cleans and dries the mopping pads to avoid bacterial growth, and includes a water reservoir for mopping. This thing is pretty insane. Smart vacuums are a pretty major lifestyle upgrade, but it's no secret that they're also an investment. So it's important that if you're going to invest that you at least get the right one. Here are a few things that I look for in a Smart Vac. Performance has to be number one. If it doesn't do a good job or can't hold a charge, then everything else is rather meaningless. Ease of use, so bells and whistles can be great, but only if they're functional and easy to use. I'm talking about end-to-end ease of use from setup to operating the device and maintenance. Features and customization, so options to vacuum and mop are essential to me, but also being able to spot clean and create zones or rooms with their own unique cleaning customization. I also want something that's low maintenance. Think about how often you need to fill the water reservoir or empty the dustbin. Another really big one for me is obstacle avoidance. This was one issue that my last robot vac struggled with. It loved to eat charging cords and shoelaces. This was a constant issue. We had to be very diligent about pre-tightening all of these small items or they get sucked up and jammed into the unit. If you have pets that occasionally make messes, then I expect that this could be a really important one for you as well. The reason I include obstacle avoidance in low maintenance is because you don't want to have to clean up too much to clean, if you know what I mean. Ideally, you just want to start your vac and it will be intelligent enough to go around a few obstacles to make your life easier. Also, what about replacement parts? Brushes don't last forever, and what about dust bags? I'll discuss that as well. Lastly, smart home integration. I'm an Apple HomeKit user, and as I've said off the start, Smart Vacs are not officially supported, but that doesn't mean that you can't incorporate this into your Apple Home. If you have Homebridge, there is a certified plugin that's easy to set up. You can also use this in Siri Shortcuts, Amazon Alexa, or Google Home, or Yiko, the built-in voice assistant. Later, we'll see how the Deebot T10 fared in each of these categories so you can determine for yourself if it's worth the hefty price. Do the features and performance of this Smart Vac justify the cost? Also consider that depending on what you're looking for and your budget, there are less expensive options in this series available as well. The Deebot N10 Plus is more of an entry-level model, but includes many of the features of the T10 Omni, like vacuuming and mopping. It's marketed for the no kids allowed house and retails for around $650. The T9 Plus, on the other hand, is marketed towards when kids and pets run the place, with a more powerful and efficient cleaning system and better obstacle avoidance. This one costs around $800. I've used Smart Vacs without Omni stations, and of course they're a little bit more work, and at the end I'll give you my personal thoughts if this extra expense is justified. But either way, if you haven't used a robot vacuum before, then you're gonna be impressed with any of these options. Okay, let's get right into my Deebot T10 Omni review, starting with performance. As you know, this has a vacuum and it also has a mop, and both of these things can happen at the same time. You can specify to only mop, but you can't specify to only vacuum. If you only want to vacuum, then you have to remove those mopping pads, which is easy enough to do, but it's still an extra step, and I wish there was a more intuitive vacuuming only option. The other inconvenience with floor mopping is that it will avoid carpeted areas as to not get them wet. It's unfortunate that the mop pads can't just be raised when going over carpeted areas in order to clean your entire floor. There are models that have this feature though, so if that's something that's important to you, then I'll leave links to the similar T20 model in the description. The T10 uses two mopping pads that rotate 180 times per minute. This is different than my Roborock S7 that uses a single pad that vibrates using sonic waves. Both do a good job, but the Deebot absolutely does a better job and leaves less streaks on the floor. This could also be in part due to the auto clean mopping. During a clean cycle, it'll take a few trips to the docking station to clean the brushes. Now this isn't something that I had really thought about before, but it makes sense that it's going to clean better if the brushes themselves are clean. Of course, it won't get everything. If there's any really deep dried on stains, then you may have to resort to some old-fashioned elbow grease. But generally speaking, you can forget about manually mopping your floors. There's various cleaning levels that you can set, so if your floors are particularly dirty, like kids coming in with muddy boots, then you have the option to do a deep cleaning, and there's even an option for edge deep cleaning. Edges can often be neglected and dirt tends to collect in these areas. Basically, Deebot will occasionally do a more intense clean around the edges of your home with this feature enabled. The vacuum uses 5,000 PA of suction power to pick up loose dirt. You have options like Quiet, Standard, Strong, and Max Plus. I typically use Standard on the main floor and I start it when we go up for bed, and I've never found it to be loud from upstairs as we're trying to go to sleep. Here's a rough idea of the sound difference between the different modes. The Deebot includes dual side brushes intended to pull in dirt and debris from the edges, and includes a main floating brush that does the rest of the work. Like most vacuums, it can be prone to getting hair twisted in the brush, but it comes with a tool to easily clean this. The vacuum uses AI to detect particles ahead, which reduces the speed of the side brushes to avoid just spreading the dirt, which is a nice feature. It comes with a 5,200 milliamp battery, which can last up to 150 minutes with standard settings, so running out of power shouldn't be an issue. In terms of mopping performance, I would give this a 9 out of 10. While not perfect, it does exceptionally well with general day-to-day cleaning. Vacuuming also performs well. It does have trouble sometimes with larger items like popcorn or Cheerios that the kids sometimes leave on the floor, but overall I would say 8 out of 10 is a fair score. My only real complaint is not being able to vacuum carpet during a mop cycle. Okay, on to the ease of use and features. If it's not easy to use, then you're probably less likely to use it. You don't have to be a tech expert to set this up, it's incredibly simple. The dock is definitely large, so it's a pretty big box. Unpacking mostly consists of simply taking everything out of the box and removing all of the protective plastic. The cover on the actual Deebot just lifts up, exposing the removable dustbin and washable 3-stage air filter. When turning upside down, you can see the already installed main brush, and those side brushes just snap into place, which means no screws required. Same goes with the rotating mop pads. They're actually magnetic and very easy to pop on and off. You will need to plan out some space for the docking station, ideally out of the way of your main living area. The manual recommends half a meter of open space on either side of the docking station, though as you can see, I have mine pretty close to the wall and it hasn't been an issue for me. To set this up, download the Ecovacs app from the App Store and create an account. From there, you can add your device and it walks you through the quick and easy setup process of connecting your Deebot to your Wi-Fi network. As you would expect, the dock is where it's going to charge, so before building any maps and starting a cleaning cycle, give it a good charge for approximately 6.5 hours. Once it's charged, then it's time to create a map of your floor. The Deebot uses LiDAR laser technology to create a map of your home in minutes. I enjoyed watching this get built in real time. Not only can you watch your Deebot moving on the map, but since it also includes a front-facing camera, then you can watch from your camera's point of view. This is also a really helpful way of monitoring your home when you're away, and even includes two-way audio. You can access recorded video and photos from the video manager, which is protected with a 4-digit PIN. You can also do a home patrol, which does a look around through your home, so it could be good for checking on pets or just seeing what's going on in your home while you're out. The Deebot is capable of multi-floor mapping, so you can save up to 3 maps at once. This means you can carry your vacuum up or downstairs and clean your floors without needing to create a new map each time. Of course, you do lose the functionality of the Omni station for mop pad cleaning. Once your house has been mapped, then you can view it in both 2D or even 3D, which looks pretty cool. The Ecovacs website will automatically separate and label rooms based on what it thinks the room is. This likely won't be really accurate, but it's a starting point. You can then divide or combine areas and apply a label to your room. Oddly, you could only assign the predefined labels. There's 17 to choose from, but several of my rooms don't fit any of the labels, and there's no way to create a custom room name. This is really unusual. Ecovacs said to me that it was a requested feature by many users, so maybe something that we'll see with a future software update. Let's hope so. For example, there's no great room, hallway, or entry. So in some cases, I just have room 1 or room 2. The other thing that's really minor but still a little unusual is that there's a number added after each room, like kitchen 1 and living room 1. I asked Ecovacs about this and they said it was to accommodate those with multiple of the same room, which can make sense, but why not only apply that 1 or 2 in those specific cases? In the end, find the room name that makes the most sense. When we set up Siri Shortcuts, you'll see how you can use more familiar room names. To start cleaning, all you need to do is hit the play button and the Deebot will perform a standard vacuum and mop as long as the mop pads are installed. You can easily change your settings by selecting the number of cleanings, the suction strength, and mopping intensity. You can also select mop only, though it's recommended that you first perform a thorough vacuum. You can also customize the cleaning sequence, so specify the order in which the rooms are cleaned. You can specify the mop pad wetness, how often the mop pads will be cleaned during an auto clean cycle, and the hot air dry times. You have the option to create a schedule, so every day at a particular time, your Deebot can clean your home. This could be in the morning after you've left for work, or maybe right before bed. You can also do this for a particular room, so you could have a schedule set up just to clean your kitchen or your dining room after mealtime. You can also customize the cleaning settings for each of your rooms, and this is great because I have some rooms that don't get used that often and stay pretty clean, but in my front entrance, for example, it gets pretty dirty as people track dirt in from outside. In addition to auto mode, there's also housekeeper mode. Here the Deebot can identify areas that are easily soiled and adjust the cleaning automatically. Ecovacs doesn't provide a lot of details on this mode. It's worked fine for me when I've used it, though I generally stick to the auto clean so I can customize the cleaning levels of each room on my own. If you're just looking to spot clean, then you can do that as well by selecting an area on the map to clean. Cleaning is really easy to do from the app or by creating a schedule. You can also do this from the button on the dock as well, and you can use voice commands, which I'll talk about shortly. Now let's talk about low maintenance, and more specifically, the effort required to use this Smart Vac. For the most part, little effort's required to keep this machine running well. Use schedules in your Deebot, or you could bring this into HomeKit and include it into one of your scenes using Homebridge. The convenience of vacuuming and mopping at the same time is great. What really makes this low maintenance is the docking station, for several reasons. Right away is the auto empty dustbin. It's a 3-liter disposable dust bag that can hold up to 75 days of dirt and debris. This of course will depend on the size of your home, or if you have pets then that's going to vary. Without the dock, you would typically want to empty it after each cleaning, or at least every other, as the built-in dustbins are small and fill up quickly. The downside, as you may have guessed, is that you need to buy additional bags, and I'll get to that a little later. Another convenience here is the hot air mop pad dryers, and this is a bigger deal than you may think. You can't just leave a wet pad on the vacuum after cleaning your floors. It's okay for a little while, but not something that you want to forget about. With my previous unit, we'd have to make it a habit to remove the mop pad in the morning after doing a cleaning the night before. This way it could properly air out. And that works fine as long as you don't forget, which I absolutely have done, and then you end up with pretty stinky mop pads. The microfiber pads are attached using Velcro so it can be easily removed and tossed into the washing machine for an occasional thorough wash. Just avoid any fabric softener so the pads remain absorbent. The other thing I would do each morning is fill the water tank. A single cleaning uses most of the water tank, so I just tried to fill it up each day. And nothing wrong with that, I was happy to do it, but having a 4-liter water tank in this dock makes a big difference, and it means I can go much longer between filling up. Constantly cleaning those mop pads does use more water than I expected though. I can usually go 3 to 5 cleaning cycles between filling up. You'll also have to empty the dirty water reservoir that's used from rinsing those brushes. This is absolutely disgusting, yet also very satisfying. I can't believe all of this dirt came from my floors. Occasionally, you'll be asked to complete some maintenance steps to keep your Deebot in tip-top condition. This involves steps like scrubbing the areas where your mop pads are cleaned. The Deebot comes with a brush that's stored between the water tanks that you can use to give this area a quick refresh. You should give the camera area and various sensors a quick wipe, and remove any hair that's become tangled in the brush. These aren't steps that you need to perform often. Every couple months or so you'll get a reminder. You pay a lot of money for these machines, so it's worth putting in a little effort to maintain. The docking station absolutely makes a big difference when it comes to reducing the amount of effort required to use the machine day to day. Speaking of low maintenance though, I was really curious how well the Deebot would do with obstacle avoidance, as this was something my Roborock really struggled with. Nothing against Roborock, they probably have some models that handle this better than the S7 that I'm using, but it was a bit of an issue. It basically means doing a pre-clean before running the vacuum. Backpack straps, charging cables, and shoelaces often fell victim to the vacuum. I would always do my best to make sure this stuff was out of the way before running the vacuum at night, but you know how it goes, busy day or just forgetting sometimes. I would often wake up to a partially clean floor and something jammed in the vacuum. The Deebot T10 Omni does much better in this regard. It uses its camera and LiDAR sensor combined with artificial intelligence to detect common household objects and vacuum around them. I've purposely been leaving items out before I go to bed to test this out, and it's been really good. Once it did get jammed with my MacBook cord, though oddly, still made it back to the dock, but it's been solid. If you have a pet, then you may be interested to know that Ecovacs has a feature called Strategic Pet Poop Avoidance. Probably self-explanatory. I guess sucking up laptop cord isn't the worst thing after all. One thing you have to be mindful of is replacement parts, and this is true with any vacuum, but it's good to know what to expect up front. Dust bags sell on the Ecovacs website. Prices can change, but as of recording, you can buy 3 bags for around $20 or 6 bags for $35. I actually found some even cheaper aftermarket bags on Amazon that I'll link in the description. The machine only comes with 1 bag, so you'll want to make sure that you have some spares on hand. Worth noting is that you can turn the auto empty feature off if you'd rather just empty the dustbin manually and not buy disposable bags, though you probably wouldn't pay extra money for this feature if you weren't planning on using it. Eventually the brushes and air filters will all need to be replaced as well, and you can buy a kit that includes a main brush, 2 pairs of side brushes, and 3 air filters for $50. You can also buy a cleaning solution, so if you think that water alone isn't enough, then you can add a small amount of solution designed specifically for this machine. Now you may be asking, how do I know when it's time to replace a brush or a dust bag? Well, all of this information is available right in the app. You can see the status and estimated hours remaining of the brushes, filters, and mop pads. You also receive a message when it's time to replace the dust bag. All in all, this machine is pretty low maintenance, so you have time to focus on more important things. Okay, on to smart home integration. There's a lot of ways that you can use your Deebot in your smart home. This works with Google, Alexa, and Siri Shortcuts. This also comes with its own built-in voice assistant. By calling, "Okay Yiko," you can get your vacuum's attention and tell it to come to where you are, or tell it to clean your home or even a particular room. This makes it really easy to control without any other smart home integration, simply by using your voice. "Okay Yiko,
I'm here.
come here and do a spot clean."
Okay, let me check where you are. Stay where you are for a while. I found you. I will start cleaning right away.
I have an Apple smart home, so it was Siri Shortcuts that got my interest. It's really easy to create one from the Shortcuts app. You can select actions like starting a cleaning cycle, an area clean, pausing a clean, and returning to the dock. With the area clean, it will only recognize labeled rooms, not defaults like room 3. So if you're using Shortcuts, then you want to make sure that you have a label assigned, even if it doesn't actually match your room. Then rename your Shortcut so you can simply ask Siri to clean your front entrance. The benefit of using Siri Shortcuts over OK Yiko is that you don't have to be in range of your vacuum. If you have an iPhone or HomePod nearby, then it's easy to trigger from anywhere. If you want to take it a step further and add it to Apple Home, then you can do that by using a Homebridge plugin. There's a certified Deebot plugin that you can add to Apple Home. You need to configure the plugin with your Ecovacs username and password and add the device ID. It's a really simple process, and it allows you to build this into your HomeKit scenes, like a good night scene that turns your lights off, locks your doors, and starts the vacuum. Hopefully we see smart vacuums that are natively supported in HomeKit in the future, but for now this workaround adds to the many ways that you can control this vacuum. Overall, I think this is a great machine. It works really well and it helps to simplify my life. As you've seen, there's a lot of great features and I absolutely love having the dock. While definitely not required, it really does add an extra level of convenience and it ensures that your mop pads stay clean and dry, which I like. The biggest opportunity, in my opinion, is the inability to lift those mop pads in order to vacuum carpets. This means that you will be switching the mop pads on and off between vacuuming and mopping. Not the worst trade-off, but it is an extra step. The other issue I have is that you can't create custom room names. This seems like something that should be really simple for Ecovacs to do, so hopefully we'll get an update in the future. But all in all, I've been really blown away by the performance and ease of use of the T10 Omni. I'll have links in the description if you're looking to add this to your smart home, and if you do, make sure to come back and leave a comment with your feedback. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.